woke is dead. A lot of people have been talking about how wokeness has finally ripped, and I have to say, first of all, it is true, and this is a glorious thing. Second of all, I have to tell you, it is so much better than you think. Woke fatigue is hitting the nation at a massive scale. A lot of people think, oh my god, wokeness this, wokeness that. I'm a little tired of wokeness. And the moment that happens is the moment you know you won. When the average dude that doesn't want to get involved in politics is tired of woke, you know you absolutely won. Now, this is going to be very funny. There is this massive scandal going on in like the gaming communities, and then we're going to get into wokeness as more of a whole. But we're going to start off with the gaming community because there's kind of a woke drama going on in the gaming community. There was someone that was cheating in a video game. The entire internet called him out for cheating in a video game. Everyone was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're cheating in a video game. Everyone was against this person. Then it turns out the person was trans, and all of a sudden the tides of Twitter turned and they were like, oh my god, I can't believe everyone is transphobic. Lock in, boys and girl. Woke is dead.
Is that apparently that person that was cheating yesterday was trans. And so now you have a bunch of people that are just like reflex defending them because they're trans.
True! 0 lies detected.
Context.
This clip is probably more popular than the game is.
That was so long ago.
That's a man! Anyway.
Oh my god, what the fuck? That was nuts!
Right. So, in my opinion, so now people are trying to make believe that Catman was not cheating, all right? I want to make this clear. That is what they're saying. People are trying to now say this cat person was not cheating after the person came out as trans. Now, this is how you know they're cheating, okay? Do you see how the gun is locked onto the target, even though the target is it's over a mound, all right? By the fact that this gun is able to lock on, it means that this person's cheating, okay? It means that this person is using an aimbot.
He locks on to this player that's behind the wall immediately. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we call an aimbot. That is cheating.
Exactly. Twitch banned him already? Twitch banned him already?
Yes, you're not allowed to use aimbots on Twitch. It violates the terms of service ban. Good shit. Now, you have to realize this is a good thing.
Oh, it's temporarily unavailable. Shooting a person in smoke? Wait, is this from last year?
So Chet just said, I love how cheating in a video game makes it okay for you to be transphobic. No, I'm transphobic because they're trying to cut the balls off children. I'm transphobic for a completely different reason. What are you talking about? It's not because of the cheating.
This is the same person. This person's trans? Wait, what? She, her? I don't know if they're trans or not. I have no fucking idea.
Literally doesn't even fucking matter, by the way. Doesn't matter if this person's trans. You're talking about a topic. And then everyone literally on Twitter, they came together to defend this person and do their absolute best to cancel everyone that called this person him. Because they watched the clip, they heard the voice, it sounds like a man, and they called him him because they were talking about the topic. You have to, every time you talk about something, you have to do some sort of insane deep dive into the lore to find out their preferred pronouns. Oh, fucking hell, dude. We're living in reality, brother. Why are we doing this? No one cares. No one cares if this person is trans.
My point is that as soon as they found out that...
This is Niara, a trans activist that says that children going through hormone conversion therapy is exactly the same as children going through puberty and does not want to leave the kids alone. It's people like this that make me transphobic, by the way. Just want to make this clear. I want to make this clear. It's people like this specifically that do make me transphobic. This person directly said, I will not leave the kids alone. Fuck you? Yes, based. Yes. This is why transphobia is in fact kind of based.
That this person was trans, the entire conversation on the internet shifted from why is this cheater posting clips of Battlefield to, oh my god, this is some poor innocent cat girl that...
So anyway, so this was a tweet saying VTuber Riley CS has been banned from Twitch. Their Battlefield 6 clips has gone viral amid cheating allegations. First, they canceled Dexerto for saying for using they them and not a specific pronoun. And then Camilla in the response said, I hope he never comes back, right? A nice meme, but use he. Camilla at this point didn't know that this person was trans, all right? Now, this person retweets it. Now, this person, in my opinion, is probably a pedophile. Retweets it and says, "Why is Camilla misgendering a trans woman who is currently the target of a harassment campaign?" This person cheated in a video game. This person was being called out for cheating in a video game. Literally, no one needs to be here to check people's pronouns and feel bad about themselves, all right? And feel bad about themselves and do a deep dive before commentating on literally anything going on the internet. Literally, who fucking cares? Okay, this is over, all right? You can do what you want with your life, but it's literally not my business, and I don't give a fuck. Okay, I think this is the stance that so many people are finally have, and I think this is what the fatigue is. The fatigue is, oh, you say you're trans? My response to that is, I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't care what you are. Literally. What, you're gonna police my speech and retroactively cancel me for using words that offended you in the past before I knew any realities that you wanted to be described? I don't care. I literally do not care. It's like me hearing somebody talk and saying that this is a British person, all right, and then it turns out that the person is not British, the person was South African. Do you want me to go back and apologize for calling you British? Well, to be honest, British is probably a bigger insult than calling people trans, to be honest. But aside from that fact, no, I don't care. I don't care. I can say whatever I want to say. I am commentating on a specific situation. I literally do not care what is going on in your pants.
That's being victimized by transphobia. And this is, again,
so this is not someone victimized by transphobia. This is someone victimized for cheating in a video game. That was literally the topic of discussion. It had nothing to do with trans. You made it about trans.
By if you guys ever want to play a drinking game and you want to get alcohol poisoning and die, look up Nyara.
Oh my god, the editor actually does the fucking, oh my god.
Vtube.
Yeah, no, so this Nyara person went to cancel me a whole bunch of times because this person calls me transphobic. Now, I don't think people realize, every single time I'm called transphobic, it gives me a new stone for my infinity gauntlet. Okay, you don't understand. Once getting all of the 5 power stones, transphobia, racism, anti-Semitism, anti-Islamophobia, and the final stone, which is sexism, I can ascend to a higher form. All right, you don't realize you are literally powering me up every single time. But anyway, so these people, they all try to cancel you for basic shit. I literally do not care. I have someone in my chat right now crashing out that I said I'm transphobic. Oh well, I guess that's a you problem, I suppose. But the point is, the transphobia feeds me, guys. It does. What can I say? What can I say? So you just look at trans kids on this person's Twitter account, and you will literally read through the fucking pedophile manifesto of all time.
And then
look at this. Look at this.
Search child and then space that out and put trans and take a shot every single time that you get a search result. You'll be dead in 5 minutes.
True. Also, to be clear, I think it's important to note that you want to hear my stance on trans kids? They don't exist. Trans kids are grooming victims. Okay? There are no trans kids. That's my opinion. Anyway, moving on.
And take a shot every single time that you get a search result. You'll be dead in 5 minutes. They want Pirate Nation dead. Wait a second, what the hell is going on here? But to go as far as saying Catboy when it's so
Battlefield 6 Catboy cheater banned on Twitch after going viral. And then they get canceled, blocking this account that goes, say Catboy, Cat boy, oh my god, it's clearly a cat girl. These people suck, okay? And you are the reason why the fatigue is here.
Obviously a woman. It's not obviously a woman. If you played this person's...
It's so obviously a woman. You can tell by the deep manly voice and the she, her in the bio.
Voice to 100 people, 100 people would say that it sounds like a guy.
Oh my fucking god! Wow, I flicked straight at that guy through the wall. Okay, so you had 2,000 viewers and you're calling me famous.
What are we talking about? The owner of Pirate Nation...
No, yeah, that's a man. That's a man.
Will be found in their apartment after weeks of decay on...
Well, it's a penis haver, all right? It's a person with a penis. Not trying to get... I'm not trying to get into controversy. It's a person with a penis, all right? It's a person with a penis. Moving on.
March 22nd, 2026. Yeah, any of the people that are trying to like tone police for like this, it was like this girl, like people are trying to like.
And then Camilla apologizes. My bad. I didn't know I saw a cheater, not doing it, not anything else. I'm sorry. And immediately fucking kneels to the woke police. Kneels, palms open, arms spread wide. Accept me back. I am so sorry I apologize. I apologize for misgendering that person. Huge L. This person, Camilla, will always be controlled forever for this, by the way. Literally forever controlled. They will always want you to apologize for something else now. You should never apologize. Even if it was genuinely a mistake and you didn't mean to misgender somebody, never apologize. Never. Never. Don't give them what they want. Literally, fuck these people. They don't deserve anything. And reality is moving towards that direction. The fatigue is here. I think the moment people saw the trans community defending the cheater, all of a sudden, immediately, bam, they flipped on the cheater. They started defending the cheater just because the person was trans. The fatigue fucking kicked into hyperdrive.
Like get mad at her because she like misgendered somebody. Never apologize.
Based.
It's very obvious that you didn't do anything wrong.
Based.
You weren't trying to like, degrade the person. Most people aren't going to go into this person's profile and investigate to check to see if they're trans.
I actually need to do that, though. I feel like this is important because when you go look at people's profiles, you can normally tell something very true based on the profile. All right, so as you can see, all right. So there's, so this is a flaggot. I call them flaggots. It's my new slur for people with like flags and virtue signaling in profiles. I call them flaggots. Make this a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Make this a thing. This is my new slur for people with, this is my new slur for people with flags and profiles and virtue signaling shit. Yeah, we call them flaggots now. Anyway, Sydney Watson just dropped a video on woke fatigue, and I think it's a very, very fitting time to do a deep dive into the woke fatigue situation because I don't think anyone's ever been this fatigued. Like, we are reaching a level of fatigue that realistically we have never had before. I personally am very tired of it. Personally, I think it is dangerous. I think it's invasive. I think it's a cancerous ideology. So we are going to lock in, okay? We are going to lock in, boys and girl. And we are going to go no holds barred. Nux, they're gonna cancel. I don't care. You don't understand how little I care. Their boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes them cheer. Immediately, the first clip out of this video, off the gate, you get the fucking bull rings. Dude, these rings are like... That's a flaggot. That's a flaggot. 3 nose rings. This is like a Dark Souls boss.
America, please get me out of this place.
Please leave, actually. I'm glad. Yes, please go.
Tired. I'm losing my shit. America, please get me out of this place.
Bye. Bye.
Tired. I'm tired.
She could vote, by the way.
I don't want to be a foolishness. I hate them.
I don't want to hear
She could vote, by the way.
another white person say the word illegal for the
Illegal. If the person said they're illegally, they're illegal. They should be deported. Deported like rotten fruit. Guys, I'll be real. I'm going hard on this because I feel zero empathy for the people crying over this shit. Oh my God, guys, alligator Alcatraz. It's so inhumane. They could have left themselves. It's their fault. I don't care. Get them out. Deport. I don't care. Dude, stop with this stupid virtue signaling bullshit. No one cares anymore.
rest of my goddamn life. We are living on stolen land.
So it's stolen land, so you want to bring in a new generation of people to steal the land? Come on, dude. So white people aren't natives, but immigrants shouldn't leave. Like, they're all hypocritical, stupid bitches. These people suck, unironically.
All you know how to do is...
All right, Chad, I need a breather. I'm a little bit fatigued. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit fatigued. All right, I need a breather. All right, so I'm gonna go first. All right. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go here. Chat, what are we saying? Chat? Bottom middle. All right, bottom middle. So I'm gonna take this. All right, so you have to go here. So I go here. Oh my God! Double trap! Got him! It's over.
Spew your vile, hateful, racist, lying rhetoric.
Hey! My rhetoric may be racist and hateful, but it is not lying.
Like many of you, I am genuinely exhausted. Hi, my name is Sydney, welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by perfume. Also, children, I am going on tour in October doing 9 cities around the United States. I would love for you to come and see me. Tickets will be linked in the description box, and for a limited time for you early people, you can use the code GONDOLA to get 20% off when you check out. See you there. It's gonna be cool. So I have wanted to make this video for quite a while now.
Right,
like similar ones that I've done recently. What has stopped me is the fact that there are 9 billion examples that I could choose from to illustrate my point.
Yeah, true. How on earth are you gonna make a video like this talking about woke fatigue when the fatigue is so woke and real? I don't know, man. To be honest, this is the best timeline. Definitely subscribe. Let's up those numbers, okay? Let's up those numbers!
It's a little overwhelming. But in the wake of the insane meltdowns around Sydney Sweeney and Billie Eilish, and all of the commentary around eugenics and Nazism and white supremacy and
I can't do that.
screaming that we've seen on TikTok, I thought it was time to take a run at this topic.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney
Dude, they all have the fucking nose shit. They all do it.
Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it.
That's the propaganda. Wow. We should have known Sydney Sweeney was a Republican.
Holy, bro. Slightly bigger Ferogan over here. She's so round. Bro, and they said that the Inca never invented the wheel.
Republican because she's tacky as fuck.
This is what we mean when we say white people and they biases just be jumping out. Because what type of racist shit is that?
They biases be jumping out. Imagine being attracted to a woman with boobs. This guy would never. He's gay.
I don't want to hear now about what black people said it wouldn't have been a problem. Anti-blackness has been a global issue since forever.
Because at this
not anymore. Racism is over. You didn't get the news? Obviously, racism isn't over. I just say things to annoy people at this point. But racism, like, dude, we are the least racist we've ever been as a culture. Don't care. Sorry, whoa, gay black man. Unfortunately, your message falls on deaf ears.
Stage, I think that all of us have a little bit of woke fatigue. As with a bunch of other social movements.
Dude, when I saw the tide shift and everyone go from shitting on this cheater in a video game to literally supporting them immediately because they were trans, I was like, the fatigue is so real. I think we have to, I'll be honest. I think that all right, so I'm gonna hit you with some stats here. No one's gonna approve, but I have to do it. Unfortunately, it's important. It's important. Okay. So here's the thing. So here's a graph. All right. Here's a graph. Now, if someone cheats in a video game, this is a graph. Cheats. Right. This is if someone cheats in a video game. Cheats video game. All right. So according to my graph, this is approximately how much hate they deserve online. All right. Now the thing is, if so, this is the amount of hate. This is the amount of hate they deserve. All right, for cheating in a video game, this much. So now, if hypothetically they get this amount of hate, which is not a high number. All right, this is cheats on wife, for example. In my opinion, that's here. All right, literally fucking here. That's all the way out there. All right, that's in the stratosphere. Now, if someone cheats in a video game, this is the amount of hate they get online. All right. Now, if hypothetically, they are getting this amount of only this amount of hate because they're getting a lot of support. All right, because they're getting a lot of support specifically from the community just because they're trans, which I think shouldn't negate any of the amount of hate they get. But the support from the community is canceling it out. I think I personally need to contribute to at least this amount of hate to get it back to, honestly, the societal norm. So I think I need to add this much transphobia to the conversation to even it out against the woke retards. All right, I feel like this is nature. This is nature at its finest, okay? So this is the amount of, honestly, fake manufactured transphobia hate because we need to get it to a baseline. This is how you know nature is healing. All right? I think it's very important, honestly, to be fully aware that we're contributing to society on a positive way.
Recently too, I think
that was a joke. Obviously, don't send anybody hate. Okay, that was a joke. I'm kidding. Don't send anybody hate, especially girls with penises. Okay, they really don't like it when they get hate. They masturbate vigorously when that happens, and it's all confusing for them.
I think that a huge portion of people have genuinely hit their saturation point. It's me. I'm people. For years, we have been lectured by.
Whoa! Why do they all look like this? Why do they all look like this? Oh my god! It's like, bro.
Purple-haired.
I don't know why men aren't approaching me. Yes, I look like the demon from Hercules, but you know.
Pierced they-thems.
Dear Mr. President of fear and division, you're not fit to lead. You belong in a prison.
Lady, hair color looks like a trans flag. Opinion invalid.
Have been name-called.
White trash.
Judge are you? Are you our judge?
Absolutely, bitch.
You are?
Shamed.
Yeah.
A toddler was suspended from a nursery after they were accused of being transphobic or homophobic.
And
whoever raised their toddler to be transphobic and homophobic, honestly, is the best parent I've ever heard of talked about on the news. I want my kids to be transphobic and homophobic. That is so based. That is literally so based. A toddler? Holy shit, bro. That's what, a 3-year-old? What do we consider a toddler? All right, what age is a toddler? A toddler is ages 1 to 3. Bro, if your kid is so fucking based that between 1 to 3 they're transphobic or homophobic, fucking hell, dude, the parents did a good fucking job. The parents did a good job. I'll be real. That is what we call good parenting. All right? I don't want to hear any of this shit. And then I wonder, why are people canceling me on the internet? Yeah, I don't need to wonder anymore.
Detect for having a difference of opinion.
Why are you voting for him? Because I believe he is the moral candidate. Oh my God.
Thanks.
You for that one.
The Karenocracy thought they could win another battle, but they can't.
Been fired and shunned and socially ostracized.
Raise your kid to be racist? No. I didn't say raise your kid to be racist. That's horrible. But you want your toddler to be homophobic, if possible. All right, It's a toddler! I'm literally joking because it's a 2-year-old kid. Literally, what are we talking about? Bro, you think I want my toddler, a 2-year-old kid, to be like, actually, gender is on the spectrum? Absolutely fucking not.
Or attacked on the internet because they rejected some part of this weird mass delusion that's been going on. They didn't use the right pronoun or they culturally appropriated something.
Dude, I love how people will have like obvious extreme feminine meltdowns and then say it's sir. Like, we have to appreciate the context here, all right? I think personally it's important to note that this is what's going on, all right? Someone will do something incredibly manly and say it's ma'am, or someone will do incredibly womanly and say it's sir. These are easily my favorite form of woke meltdowns. Easily.
And so I think the word fatigue is just so accurate in describing this crippling exhaustion that so many of us are feeling towards the current social climate.
Like, it used to be hate it, like you hated the woke bullshit everywhere, and now it's just fatigue, because we're over the hill, all right? We're heading in a, I think, positive trajectory, and despite that fact, it is still insufferably tiring to see the remnants of the fucking woke bullshit era trying to claw their way back.
Exhaustion with the relentless militant pressure to conform to a very, very narrow set of social justice values.
Yeah, also I think it's important to note, we tried. For years, we tried. We tried to treat you well. We tried to use the words you wanted to hear. We tried. You weren't happy enough. And literally fuck yourself. We're never trying again.
Where every word and every action and even silence is scrutinized for its correctness.
True,
it's burnout from
care.
a good few decades of being pressured and lectured into caring about all issues all of the time, all at once. Everything everywhere has been hyper-politicized, and for years there has been absolutely no reprieve. Until recently.
True. Now, we need the pendulum to swing the other way, all right? I think we need the pendulum to swing the other way. Instead of white people paying reparations to black people, I feel like we need to shift this, all right? We need to turn things around. All right, that's what I'm thinking. We need to figure out a way to have the pendulum swing even further.
Where apparently we all stopped giving a crap at the exact same time and now just sit back and laugh as these people do insane things and remove themselves from the gene pool. I mean, to be honest, like, they're all crying about eugenics, bro. They are literally castrating themselves. Right? They're crying about, oh my god, the Sydney Sweeney ad is eugenics. It's eugenics. They are literally castrating themselves. Like, I don't want to be rude here. You guys are practicing eugenics for us. So that's pretty crazy. Realize there are a few different ways that you can interpret that last sentence, but I'm referring to the fact that they're just not having kids. But I'm
referring to the fact that they are scientifically, surgically removing their organs And also the fact that they're not having kids.
I'll let you pick the interpretation that you like best.
Yeah, that's
so this is what I want to talk about today. Woke fatigue, woke exhaustion, how we got here, how it was accelerated, and really just remind you...
It's Trump. Trump. The fucking guy, Trump. I don't know, man. Maybe he's on the Epstein list, but I have to say, when he gave his inauguration speech, all right, and he stood up there, and he said we're only recognizing 2 genders, I feel like it flicked a switch, and the world collectively came together and was like, you know what? He could just say that. We could just say that. We could just fucking say the thing we've been thinking for literally years. That's my opinion.
All of some of the things that you have probably forgotten over the years that were absolutely, completely insane. But before we do that, obviously all of my regular disclaimers, this video is by no means exhaustive. I'm not going to get to and list everything. There's way too much. And yeah, actually, when I was planning this video, I jumped on a call with a girlfriend of mine, and together we were just listing out and going through all the
could do
things
this
that we
forever
could think of associated with this topic, and putting those in this video, I maybe got to a third of our list. It was that long.
Wow.
But I've done my best.
No, I could go forever. And I'm sure that some of the things she's gonna make, the Dylan Mulvaney ad, the video game shit, all the Concords, the fat characters, the disabled advertisements, dude, there's literally infinite woke bullshit.
To give you all of the little treasures. So, my little Hell Gondola dwellers, before you once again board my Hell Gondola, and together we revisit some stuff that we probably would rather forget, let's hear from today's sponsor, Fume.
I've been offered the Fume sponsor many times, and I always turn them down, because I'm always scared that, even though it's allegedly, it's just flavored air, I'm always scared to promote something that's like actually possibly not researched enough and could be dangerous down the line. So I'm always scared. I'm always scared to promote stuff like that.
Not the case at all.
Obviously not shitting on anybody that is promoting it. I personally turned that sponsor down.
In the 80s and 90s, political correctness in America was sort of in its first wave.
Yeah.
At the time, the term was a way to both describe and criticize progressive efforts to curb the use of offensive language and behavior, particularly on university campuses where, during this time, policies were being enacted to block expression of certain opinions.
True.
In 1990, the New York...
Now you can't even hate gay people anymore. What has happened to us as a society? That was a joke, guys. Chill out. Chill, bro. Chill, bro. That was it. Chill, guys. Chill.
Times published an article titled The Rising Hegemony of the Politically Correct.
That's how it all started, all right? Now, realistically, you see stuff like this, and it's like, you see stuff like this, okay? And you're like, wow, this is a good thing, right? It's a good thing. Why are we all going out and offending each other? But looking back on it, this is obviously an incursion on the First Amendment. Like, this is obviously trying to suppress freedom of speech. If you have an opinion and you want to voice your opinion, it could be deemed as politically incorrect and therefore invalid. You're not allowed to say those words. Looking back, I think that the Founding Fathers knew what they were doing. I think freedom of speech it's the First Amendment for a reason. It's literally the number one clause to a free country. If you don't have free speech, you don't have a free country. And realistically, honestly, indubitably, this is absolutely clamping down on freedom of speech. And I'm so glad that we're able to look at it from, like, in hindsight and see it.
Author wrote that on college campuses, there was a breeding ground for a regimented leftist ideology that promoted intolerance, closed debate, and pressured others to conform to a radical program or risk being accused of a commonly reiterated trio of thought crimes: sexism, racism, and homophobia. It's been 30 years and nothing really has changed around this time.
And for some reason, those motherfuckers that were running the college campuses back then are still running the college campuses right now.
Newsweek also published something similar, with its cover image being big bold letters spelling out "Thought Police." In the same year, comedian George Carlin did a series of bits mocking PC language, soft language as he called it, like trading the word handicapped for differently abled, or the word shell shock with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Americans have trouble facing the truth, so they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse. And of course came the war in Vietnam, which has only been over for about 16 or 17 years. And thanks to the lies and deceit surrounding that war, I guess it's no surprise that the very same condition was called post-traumatic stress disorder. Still 8 syllables, but we've added a hyphen.
All right.
And the pain is completely buried under jargon. Post-traumatic stress disorder. I'll bet you if we'd have still been calling it shell shock, some of those Vietnam veterans might have gotten the attention they needed at the time.
All that language.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Bro, we can't even call retards anymore. Think about how insane this is. Like, we used to just call them a retard and move on with our day. And now all of a sudden that's a slur? Motherfucker, it's not a slur. It's a diagnosis.
To know and love, it was really getting started here. But at least comedy was still legal, so, you know, little wins. By the early 2000s, the term PC had become an insult. It was a pejorative, with many arguing that political correctness generally was being used to suppress free speech, but also to suppress differing opinions.
Absolutely.
Its supporters, on the other hand, said that it was a way to promote tolerance and inclusivity, and that, importantly, nobody had the right to offend without consequences.
That is crazy. It's crazy to hear this. Of course you have the right to offend. It's not a nice thing. Of course you're going to have consequences. People are going to think you're not a nice person. Of course you shouldn't offend people unless you have a specific stated goal in mind. Absolutely. What do you mean? Arresting people for offending people? What are we doing as a society, bro? What are we doing as a culture, man? So yeah, no, in retrospect, obviously it's bullshit.
I am not making that up. That is a direct quote that I found in an article said by a progressive, that nobody has the right to offend without consequences. Are we screwed? We are so screwed. I mean, with all of
Well, we were screwed. Hopefully we can turn this around, because this is insane. Like, it's crazy. This is authoritarianism at its finest. Like, these people were the fascists.
This in mind, you can completely see how we ended up where we are today. Suffering, and being dictated to by people who think that sex is not an immutable characteristic.
Trans women can be biologically female.
After the September 11th, debates over political correctness intensified. Media outlets avoided terms like Islamic terrorism as not to offend Muslims.
I can't believe these white-appearing youths are beating people up in Washington, D.C. They're white-appearing, and they're youths. And they're black. But they don't want to talk about that. We're not going to say that. They're still doing it. They're still doing the same shit. Now, again, it's not about not offending Muslims. It's about propaganda. It really is. It's not about the not offending Muslims. It never was. All right? It never was. It's all about the propaganda. They don't want people to realize blacks are white. No. They're white-appearing. They're white-appearing people. All right? They happen to be black, but they're white-appearing.
Conservatives argued that this obfuscated the issue, while progressives argued that this language fueled xenophobia. Words like illegal alien were traded for undocumented migrant.
True! I'm really glad we're getting back to illegal aliens. I think it's important. I think it's important to get back to the basics here. They are illegal, and they are aliens. Yes, undocumented migrant. It provides them a little too much humanity, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that I have anything against illegal immigrants per se. I just think they need to get deported immediately. I'm not trying to be rude here. Yeah.
Words like spaz or spastic were deemed offensive, and calling things gay was no longer socially acceptable.
Oh my god, dude. This is when it started. Everything bad happened in society when gay was no longer a pejorative. This is so sad. We got to make gay again. That's so gay, man. That's crazy. You might think that that's homophobic, and the answer to that obviously is, of course it is, but that's why it's funny.
Much to the chagrin of all of us millennials. Universities and workplaces increasingly adopted diversity training and speech guidelines. The rise of social media platforms like MySpace and Facebook in the early 2000s began amplifying public discussions and giving activists tools to call out offensive behavior.
Yup, and people were able to sit behind their fucking avatar and fight for the rights of censorship and canceling people for saying words they didn't like. Yeah, I am so fatigued about this, man. It is so frustrating. Social media made us gay and retarded. It really did.
Reddit and Tumblr followed, and activist communities really started to flourish online. By the way, when I use this voice, this is my quotation voice because you can't see me doing the quotation marks. Just wanted to clear that up.
All right, well, that was cleared
up. But
up.
I think a lot of this largely could have been avoided if we just stopped the people on Reddit and Tumblr from ever having access to the internet. Or conversely, made them stay.
I don't know about that. I think it's not really about that. I think it's about people not actually giving a shit. People are way too easy to capitulate to the loud retards. That's my issue. My issue is, a lot of people were really, really quick to capitulate to this stuff because, you know, you saw something on social media with 1,000 likes. You're like, oh my God, 1,000 people like this tweet. And it's like you immediately want to capitulate to that shit. I think that's insane, personally. I think you should never capitulate, never bow down, never surrender, literally never do any of that shit, bro. Never, ever, ever, ever. And people did, because people are pussies. They felt like, oh, hey, and I think it's all for propaganda purposes. I think half the politicians that say this shit, they don't even believe it. They're like, oh my God, gay is a pejorative. You're not allowed to call things gay anymore. It's homophobic. They don't care. They don't care. They're just trying to get the gay vote, bro. They're trying to get the woke vote. They're all just placating children to get votes from them. It's such a broken system. Unbelievable. So all the flaggots could vote for them.
Side of the internet, done a little bit of web segregation. So by the beginning of the 2010s, two very distinct camps had emerged. Those who believed that political correctness was a moral necessity, and those who viewed it as a form of censorship and another form of social control. And then...
See, I think that there needs to be this middle of the road, and no one's ever willing to take the middle of the road. The middle of the road is, words do not get you to go to jail or ruin your life, because fuck you, there's the First Amendment, so freedom of speech is king, all right? It is censorship to ruin people's lives and ban them and stuff for using specific words that offend you or that you don't like or have opinions that you don't want to hear. In my opinion, that's insane. But on the flip side, yes, if someone is always using gay as a pejorative, let's say, then maybe they are homophobic. And if they're homophobic, you could treat them the way you want to treat them. Or maybe someone is racist. Maybe you don't want a racist around, so maybe you won't be friends with them. Of course, words have consequences. The consequences should be social, though, not legal. Because words are social, not legal. I think it's literally the most obvious thing in the world, but for some reason, these people are insane.
And like basically all of these movements, everything went to hell. And it was probably here that the foundation of the coming fatigue started for the majority of us. You know, considering a lot of us were children up until this point, and I distinctly remember running around the playground saying that everything was gay. You know, us Aussie kids grew up during this period of time and we had...
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I don't know. How old was I in 2010? 14? So, yeah, I remember that for sure. Gay was obviously a pejorative. Yeah. Dude, I remember in Mankind and Change to Humankind, and I was like, that was like my first brush with woke, and I was like, why are we doing this? Like, who is offended by this, bro? Who cares?
Fads. There were a cigarette lolly.
Bro, it's so good. 10-year-old Nux calling things gay. 29-year-old Nux calling things gay. This is so based.
As you do. Actually, speaking of lollies, we used to be able to get these things called yogurt buds, which were like little buds.
Yeah, why are we talking about lollies?
I miss them so much, and I have not been able to find them anywhere. Someone find me yogurt buds, please.
By 2014, the term woke, which had been used mainly by Black Americans to refer to awareness around racial issues, had been repurposed to describe a hyper-vigilant social justice mindset.
Honestly, I think this was huge. We need to start reclaiming all these things. We need to reclaim all this shit immediately, all right? You don't understand. The moment a new thing becomes a word that's used by the retards, we have to immediately grab it, reclaim it, and shift it around. Every single time.
Around this time, too, we also had the term SJW, or social justice warrior.
I'm so glad we swapped SJW for woke. Because I think woke does such a much better job. It's so insulting. But I'll be real, I don't use woke that much. Mostly because every time I heard my dad, all right, my dad, he's old, all right, and he'll be like, there's so much wokeism going on, and then I immediately want to kill myself. So yeah, anyway.
You all know what that is.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was never really a massive fan of the term social justice warrior, given that the vast majority of people, if they're fighting anything, it's their own mental illness. You know, I think calling them warriors is a form of internet stolen valor, you know, like this is why they think they're soldiers of the progressive left.
I mean, that's why we call them keyboard warriors, all right? I think keyboard warriors is amazing. It's like they go to battle, but their going to battle is just being a fat, retarded, gay slob on their keyboard.
Except, like, all it takes to defeat them is asking the last time their dad hugged them. Anyway.
That's cute. You think they have dads? That's hilarious.
Social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram turbocharged this shift, making
it is all them. It is all the social media platforms. They fucking ruined society for a good chunk of time. And I'm so glad that after Trump became president, Zuckerberg went on Joe Rogan and immediately admitted that the Democratic Party forced him to enforce and censor specific topics like COVID. And he basically admitted to the fact that the deep state establishment motherfuckers were directly and utterly controlling the narratives and speech patterns that were allowed to be used. So while social media looks like the public square, it looks like a place where your voice could be heard, it really wasn't. It was only for this tiny Overton window that you were allowed to talk about specific topics that they deem acceptable in society. It is truly evil. It is truly, truly evil, censorious bullshit that, in my opinion, has regressed society to such a massive degree over the last bunch of years. I think that the gaytheist morality has shifted so much because of social media, all right? You could say something bigoted against religion, and they will literally let that slide. You say something bad against trans people, they will ban you and silence you into oblivion, all right? It is absolutely, in my opinion, like actually the tools of Satan, all right? That is how crazy this shit got. Did I hear gaytheist? Yeah, gaytheist is my new favorite thing. It's like a subset of people that are like atheists and also gay, and that's like their whole personality. I call them gaytheists. It's my favorite thing.
Making activism instantaneous and public, allowing terms like privilege, microaggressions, and cultural...
Microaggressions! Do you remember microaggression? Oh my god, I remember microaggressions. Holy shit.
...appropriation to spread.
We can now say microaggressions. Now what?
Here's some other examples of microaggressions.
I guess I'm still learning how to deal with microaggressions.
The majority of the microaggressions that I've experienced...
Dude, stop! This is not a real thing. No one cares. Oh my god, and we let them slide. Do you remember when we let them slide? Oh my god. You see, the thing is, they care about the microaggressions so much, people stop doing macroaggressions. Macroaggressions are based. All right. No, microaggressions, for those of you that are unaware, it's like if you, I'm trying to think. If a person feels triggered by the fact that you are looking at them too long and they interpret it as them looking at them because it's of a racial thing. That's an example. All right, if a gay couple is walking down the street holding hands and you look at them a little too long, they will take that as a homophobic action. All right, and they literally got kids kicked out of colleges for stuff like this. It's so fucking, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
In my life are related to being half Japanese.
Hashtags made issues viral, but they also created pressure to publicly align with progressive causes. In the wake of the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and the rise of BLM, social media exploded with calls to check your privilege or call out racism.
I checked my privilege, and it is in fact intact. Thank God for my privilege. I wake up every day, and I thank God for my privilege. Thank you, God, for giving me this privilege. I've checked. It's still there, chat. Don't worry. Don't worry, chat. I checked my privilege. It's still, thank God, still there.
Non-participation, such as not tweeting #BLM, was seen as complicity and a sign-off on police brutality.
By the way, this is real. So back when the original BLM shit was happening in public, I personally, I wasn't like doing political content, but I also didn't stand with the BLM thing. Obviously, I care about black people just like I care about any person. I think every person is made in the image of God. I think every person is important and valuable and has something to do and contribute to this world. And I fully believe that, absolutely. However, I wasn't like a big fan of the movement. I thought the movement was a scam, and it was a scam, actually, it turned out. Now, the irony is, I wasn't like doing political content, but I also would never tweet something or publicly say something that I didn't believe in. So I never actually promoted the BLM thing. I had so many people saying, Nux, just say it. Just do it, bro. They're shitting on you for not just tweeting #BLM, Black Lives Matter or something. Why wouldn't you do that? Like, why wouldn't you? Just do it. And I'm like, no, not doing it. Absolutely not. I'll be honest. While I didn't always do political content, I have always been so fucking incredibly consistent. I've been so consistent, it's crazy, it's insane, holy shit, it's been crazy. Say the words, Jew man, say the words.
So back when George Floyd was killed, I remember I reposted the famous quote by Desmond Tutu that says, if you're neutral in situations of injustice, you're siding with the oppressor.
And that's exactly what I did. I sided with the oppressor. Based oppressor! What are we doing, guys? Shut the fuck up.
Making this video reminded me about
Oh my god, people were so annoying. See, now I'm based. Now I'll just openly say, yes, of course, I signed for the oppressor. Oppressors are cool. Or stop it. I have a black friend. All right, you can't criticize me. Got him. Like, dude, stop being bitches. Yes, you know what? I'll tell you this. I sign with police officers that arrest criminals. Obviously, I don't want them to be over brutal. Obviously, I think that very often it does happen. But of course I support police officers. Obviously. Yes, every single day I will support the officers that are fighting for our country. Our soldiers and our officers. 100%. Absolutely. I hate the people that don't. They suck.
Cops who were kneeling during the BLM protests.
Oh, give me a break.
And all the white people who were doing those struggle sessions, basically, where they were...
I have to show you my favorite struggle session of all time. I've shown this to people so often. Now, I am not a grifter. All right, a lot of people call me, Nux, I can't believe you're a right-wing grifter. You're such a right-wing grifter, guys. So many people called me that. I don't actually care what people call me. I've gotten to the point that I just do my thing and I don't care. Obviously not a right-wing grifter. If I would be a right-wing grifter, I would be grifting. I'm not a grifter. I just fully believe all the things that I say, it turns out. Now, let me show you the quintessential apex grifter. Now, there is someone that voted for Donald Trump that has always been a right-wing guy. But despite that fact, while trying to rebrand himself and reframe his image, he took the woke pill. I can't find this clip. I'm so mad. I have to find this. Bro, where is this clip? I found it.
Listen closely. One of my biggest learnings from all of this, and I'm embarrassed that it's taken me 25 years to realize this. It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yes.
Condemn those who feign superiority because of the color of their skin. Friends, hold friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, we must hold our authorities accountable. Police officers, politicians, policymakers. As Killer Mike said, bully the politicians at the voting booth. Make your voice heard. Attend a protest. Speak up against injustice. If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are fucking blind.
Yeah, so
you
anyway,
are delusional.
He goes on this whole rant. It's like a 4-minute speech. No one cares. This is unbelievable levels of virtue signaling, all right? By the way, for the record, that guy is a Trump voter. He's a right-wing guy. He's in the WWE. He is not, this does not align with any of his values. He's a fucking grifter reading off a script. Now, realistically, I think it's really important to bring that up because hold the grifters accountable. Make your voice heard. Hold the grifters accountable. I can't stand these people that will stand on their soapboxes whenever they fucking want. Literally, shut the hell up, dude. Unreal.
Washing black people.
You know who I support? You know who I like? You know who I stand up for? Good people. Absolutely.
People's feet or gathering in circles to, like, apologize to them. Do you guys remember this stuff?
Dude, this is so fucking bullshit. It's crazy.
Here, in honor of his legacy.
I am one of the good ones, guys, as I kneel in my mask to our black overlords.
Rioting, God. We're not shaming it.
But more importantly,
yeah, they suck.
The mid-2010s brought about the rise...
Not the 2S LGBTQIA community.
...of the trans movement, gender ideology as we know it today, fat acceptance, and the massive, crazy expansion of the LGBTQIA XYZ community.
True.
All of which brought about their own set of rules and regulations around language.
Mental institution. This person should not vote.
Self-ID, and their own activist classes.
Which I have talked about in other dedicated videos to those topics at length, so I'm not going to rehash that here, but just know that through all of this, all of that was happening, and with the pronouns and the transing of the kids and the people identifying as toaster strudels. But those videos...
Open the asylums! Open the asylums! Drop them in! Throw away the key! These people vote, by the way!
But those videos are dedicated
to my God!
In the description box if you are interested in...
Don't say those are just furries in my chat like that's a normal thing to do. That's fucked up, okay? Those are people that are watching too much anthropomorphic animal porn, alright? It rots your brain away. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Those are just furries. They filmed that and put it on the internet! Oh, make asylums great again. MAGA, the true MAGA.
The timeline of how we all got over the LGBT movement and the trans movement. Anyway, wokeness soon became the cultural expectation with terms like toxic masculinity and...
That's another one of those fake things that never existed. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity, okay? Stop it. Stop it. Obviously, there are bad men, there are good men, and there are bad men. Just like there are good women, and there are bad women, all right? That's just life. That's just reality. That's just humanity, all right? And honestly, it's all women's fault. It's all women's fault because let's not forget, let's take accountability. It was Eve that ate from the tree of knowledge, all right? If not for that, none of this would happen, all right? It's all women's fault. They got us into the... No, I'm kidding, obviously. But the point that I'm trying to make is there's good women, there's bad women, there's good men, there's bad men. Stop villainizing an entire group or sex or culture because of anything. Get the fuck out of here.
White privilege and white fragility making their way into general public mainstream discourse.
This is something I've thought about a lot and something I've spoken about a lot. There's too much of toxicity. It's masculine toxicity out there.
Even the term white fragility can like really set a lot of people off and saying, what do you mean I'm fragile? You know, like this is offensive and so it's almost ironic that the term is kind of self-evocative in that.
Oh my God, these people are so... Like, dude, could you imagine being a white person telling a black person what they should think about themselves? Like, could you even imagine that? Could you even fucking imagine that? No? Well, then why are black people telling white people what they should think about themselves? But I don't understand. I don't understand. Rules for thee, not for me. You are all the racists. Someone in my chat just told me to look this up, and they were actually telling the truth. Speaking of furries, this is a breaking news story from 7 hours ago. A Colorado man who self-described as wolf furry was mauled after trying to join a Wyoming wolf pack in the wild. Oh my fucking God, dude. What are we doing? Oh, Lord.
That way.
White people are racist, and not because they are evil, but because they were raised in racist systems, rewarded by racism, and defended by systems built on it. You are not the exception just because you are nice. You are the product. And when the system gets challenged, fragility explodes.
Here's it. See, this is what I mean when I say gaytheist. All right, I'm really glad that that we're talking about this. All right, this is why I've coined the term gaytheist.
Or the product. And when the system gets challenged, fragility explodes.
Here's a test for white fragility. I came across some questions for white fragility that I would like to share with you all. White fragility is a hindrance to open and honest racial conversations.
Okay.
Social policing.
Why? What are you talking about? What are we doing? See, the thing is, and you know the irony, there's something called white fragility, and there's also something called black fragility. Black fragility is when white people don't immediately acknowledge that they are the fault of all things that happen in society. That's when black fragility kicks in, because they don't like that. They don't like that at all, actually, it turns out. Dude, this is all bullshit. People are individuals. Why are we doing this? It's like some culture. Dude, you don't understand how often I get called out for my ancestors being slave owners. Dog, my grandparents are Holocaust survivors, okay? Yeah, I'm white. My grandparents never had slaves. Neither did my grandparents or my great-grandparents or my great-great-grandparents. It didn't fucking happen, all right? But you're blaming me because of the color of my skin anyway. You're the racist, okay? Without even a shadow of a doubt, you're the racist. And also, and this always shuts people down. This literally always shuts people down. It's like, your ancestors owned slaves. Yeah, well, who sold the slaves to them? Anyway, let's not talk about that.
Was also taking place. In 2015, for example, for Halloween, Yale University emailed its students asking them to be thoughtful about the cultural implications of their costumes. When a professor responded by questioning this, both her husband was threatened by students and she was borderline asked to resign. And it wasn't long before this was happening every Halloween, with people writing entire instruction manuals on how to properly dress to avoid cultural appropriation.
That was a thing that I never understood. Like all the other things, like I get it, sort of. Like I get what they're trying to say. I never understood what cultural appropriation was supposed to be. It's like, you can't dress with the Chinese clothes because you are offending Chinese culture. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you even saying?
Offense.
Joe Henry of the League of United Latin American Citizens has some examples of what not to do.
When you have costumes of
people who appear to be Latino wearing sombreros, people who are dressed up to look as if they're African Americans, but they're not. That is offensive.
My culture.
First of all, I don't care. So get offended, retard. Not my problem. That's one. Two. What are we even talking about? First of all, I don't care if you're offended. All right, you're getting offended does not ruin my life. In fact, it makes my life better. So I don't care. Okay. Now I am a very altruistic person. Obviously, I don't try to offend people. But if what I say does offend people, that's a them problem. All right.
My culture is not a costume.
Bucknell University.
It is now! No, I'm sorry. That was obviously rude. But notice how every single race and gender and culture, they all have cultures except for white people.
He even started a campaign called My Culture Is Not Your Costume to raise awareness of the problematic nature of certain Halloween costumes. The idea of cultural appropriation at this point was very alive and well, with everything being policed, from hairstyles to dress styles to even music people were or were not allowed to produce.
Yeah, don't care, actually, turns out. Yeah, turns out I don't care. This is the ultimate response to basically all of this shit. All right? They come for you, and your response is, actually, I don't care. It's literally over.
And in this whole time, this whole 11 years that I've had my hair locked up, nobody said anything about me culturally
Every time the fucking septum nose shit.
appropriating. In 11 years, that's so sus. Why didn't anybody tell me anything? I'm so glad for TikTok because you're saying it like it is. I mean, and I've done all my own research, but everywhere it's like, why white people can't have dreadlocks. And I was like, I'm not white. I mean, I'm part white, but maybe that's why people haven't said anything, because they're like, she looks a little culturally ambiguous. I'm just gonna leave it.
Like, what do we do, bro? Like, as a society, we have failed these people. Like, this is their religion now. Like, these people will go and say that there is no Big Daddy in the sky and that God is fake, and then they will find a new religion. A religion based on fucking nose rings and bullshit. Like, what are we doing?
What's an acceptable number of braids we can wear in our hair without it being cultural appropriation?
There's no such thing as cultural appropriation. Stop. It never existed. It doesn't exist. Stop.
Like this one.
Right. White people are only allowed to have one braid. If you have multiple braids, you're racist. Right.
I think that's acceptable.
Whenever I see these kinds of videos...
But I, as a black person, am allowed to, straighten my hair. Why can black people straighten their hair, but white people can't have dreadlocks? Could you explain that to me? Why are black people able to straighten their hair, but white people are not allowed to have dreadlocks? Can you explain that? You can't? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. I didn't actually want... That was a rhetorical question.
I always think, well, I'm gonna braid my hair even harder now. There's also something uniquely stupid and arrogant and entitled about claiming an entire hairstyle that is present and has been present in cultures around the planet forever.
Literally, who cares? These people have no powers. Like, dude, fuck, dude. I don't care. I don't care.
Basically. I mean, as long as we're talking about cultural appropriation, I had no idea that women who were, not Caucasian could have blonde, straight hair. That's crazy. How did you grow that yourself?
True! I was just asking the same question. Damn, she cooking today.
By 2016, NFL player Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for the national anthem to protest racial inequality. By 2018...
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, dude. I remember that. So leave the country. Leave the country. I don't understand. America's the best country out there. Everyone wants to come to America. Everyone wants to join America because America's the best. And then they complain about America being bad and having injustice, and we need to import other cultures into America to make America have other literally, you guys all suck. You guys suck. If you kneel for the national anthem, I think that you lose the ability to not get offended if someone calls you the N-word. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And I mean that for slurs of all different races. If you want to benefit from this country while shitting on the country, then the country should shit on you back. All right, that's my opinion.
Nike had partnered with him with the performative slogan, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything."
Oh my God, I remember that. I remember that slogan when that came out.
Appearing on images with his face. Soon, other sports people followed suit, and many of them took a knee. Okay, all right, guys. Eventually, the involvement of politics in sports led to teams like the Indians and the Washington Redskins changing their names to avoid being racially insensitive to Native Americans.
But 2020 onwards
people
is
cared
where
about
things
this.
Went totally haywire. And honestly, for these movements and ideologies, I think it signaled the beginning of the end. Probably a combination of being locked inside one's own house, becoming fearful of sneezing, too much time alone, too much time on the internet, and the rise of TikTok. A lot of people went a little bit...
Yeah, dude, it really was. It was the COVID era that absolutely destroyed this. The COVID era woke everybody up. Everyone woke up through COVID. Like, dude, because until now, it's like, okay, don't use these words, don't use those words, new words, can't dress this way, can't look this way, can't talk this way, microaggress people. And people were like, it was building up slowly and surely and slowly and surely. And then the pimple exploded when they locked you in your houses. Like, and then it was it. It was over. It was COVID. And it was COVID. I think we will look back at COVID historically as a turning point in reality.
After George Floyd's death, I'm having so much...
No, you would invoke the name of Saint Fentanyl Floyd in vain?
Trouble saying that. George Floyd. After he died, people went absolutely mad. And
what do you mean died? By the way, this is a real thing that happened to me like a while ago. I said George Floyd died, and I literally was yelled at and say, he didn't die, he was murdered. And I was like, all right, dude. Okay, bro. All right.
Quite frankly, that's putting it mildly.
Anyone saying Black Lives Matter too. 11, that's how many times I can't breathe, 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 I can't breathe. Eric Garner said I can't breathe before he was killed by police. So
yeah, crazy. The wokeness was crazy.
I guess those 3 words only mean stop if you're white.
I want to remind you all that politicians were crying over this guy's golden casket. I'm just, stop the world. I want to get off. This period of time
Look, man, I do think that the guy was obviously brutal. I think that Chauvin definitely took it too hard, for sure. Absolutely. He's the police officer that killed George Floyd, or that George Floyd died while that police officer was kneeling on him, whatever. Whatever. It's a long topic that I'm not willing to reopen right now because I don't actually care enough. However, realistically, literally shut the hell up, dude. Stop, bro. Stop with the virtue signaling. Stop it. Like, you realize that dude was literally overdosing. Like, bro, like, dude, you this is your saint? This is the person you will look up to forever? A guy who was a serial criminal that fucking overdosed on fentanyl? This guy, really? He is your martyr? He's your messiah? Like, come on, dude. Unreal.
Gave us fiery but mostly peaceful reporting and wide-scale justification for civil unrest from politicians and other talking heads.
June 2020 gave us Blackout Tuesday, when people posted
He robbed a pregnant woman at gunpoint. He was a bad fucking guy. Obviously, I'm not happy he died, but like, dude, stop it. Stop fucking taking people like this and putting them on pedestals. Like, dude, I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care enough. I don't care enough to get involved. He's not a hero. He's not a hero. Like, fuck, man.
Squares on Instagram to show solidarity with BLM. It also gave us a bunch of these videos of, like, mainly white girls painting black fists on their face because, I mean, like, okay.
Because they're virtue signaling. I want to make this clear. These people don't care either. They're all virtue signaling. Every single one of them. They need to show that they are on the right side of history. It is a predominantly woman thing. It really is. And I think that's why women are definitely way more voting on the left. They're like, the emotional blackmail works on women so much more than it works on men. It really does. Absolutely. It really does. And I don't know, man. They fucked the generation. They really did. You have this group of people that are literally sitting there, saying that I'm gonna girl boss, I'm not gonna get married, I'm not gonna have a family, I'm gonna be based and cool and alone, and yeah, I am gonna be woke actually. And these people are unreal.
University campuses were definitely still in meltdown mode, but, honestly, it seems like they never really take a break from that.
Trigger warnings, which were already extremely common in academia, became ubiquitous in 2020 across social media, classrooms, and workplaces. Professors began prefacing their lectures with warnings for topics like racism or violence.
Do you want to see the saddest trigger warning of all time? This just happened, by the way. This is a brand new trigger warning that just dropped. Let me see if I can find it. Because wokeness is still alive. It's just hiding, right? They did this. Do you remember Rush Hour? So Rush Hour was a great movie, all right? It was a bit racist, but that's why it was funny. They put this trigger warning in front of Rush Hour. We all love our 90s buddy comedies, but this movie was created in a different time. FYI, certain depictions, language, and humor may seem outdated and at times offensive. You guys suck, dude. You suck.
We even had news outlets giving us lists of problematic movies that need warning labels, like Forrest Gump and Indiana Jones. And I am not joking. Forrest Gump is a big no-no because it has AIDS in it.
You are joking!
What, do you have a cough due to cold?
The Indiana Jones one is because it doesn't accurately depict Hindus and Indians. My God, these people are so soft. I think it's really fun.
It's true. It is invented. It literally bred a generation of pussies.
Larry and Forrest Gump are on this list, but not movies like Tropic Thunder.
I mean, you know what they say. You know what they say. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create strong women. Strong women create bad times. Bad times create strong men. We're back. We're back.
They just don't make films like that anymore.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Honestly, the softness and the squishiness and the desire to be offended by everything is part of what makes wokeness so incredibly exhausting. It's always about managing one's feelings and validating people's individual truths and ignoring universally accepted facts. Everything is about avoiding offense and ensuring that
dude, do you remember when what was it 2015 or some shit, Ben Shapiro came out and was like, there are two genders actually, and they literally fucking wanted to kill that guy. Like, dude, like he went out there and was like, actually, I believe there are two genders, and they literally tried to kill him. Like, do you remember? What a crazy time.
You think about the feelings of complete strangers, lest they feel wounded or sad. Unfortunately, I am not Willy Wonka, and I don't have to sugarcoat reality.
True.
This insane...
See, there is a solution to this. You could not watch my videos. If my videos offend you, don't watch them. All right? If my words hurt you, do not listen to them. I'll be honest. So I'm really glad. I'm really, really glad that we got here. But literally, get a life. I am not victimizing anyone with my words. Literally, go find God.
Emphasis on feelings was and is to the extent that universities like the University of Utah had cry closets for students overwhelmed by stress.
Dude, stop it! Stop it! Dude, the colleges need to get overhauled, bro.
And safe spaces expanded to protect against ideological discomfort.
You are joking
This
me.
even applied to free speech zones on campus where one could go to actually have, free speech.
America should be a free speech zone. What are we doing? Nah, that's gay. That's gay.
I guess the rest of the campus, they weren't allowed. Companies rolled out diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives en masse with trainings like Coca-Cola's 2021 Be Less White session. With some companies using the book
Oh my God!
White Fragility, like Coca-Cola did, as a teaching reference. I think it's worth saying that the anti-white rhetoric that has grown and metastasized over the years is honestly pretty staggering. And if I think about it too much, it's quite distressing to consider that it's made its way into basically every area of cultural and social life.
True. And it's not only that, but it's accepted too. That's the craziest part. I think that, for example, right now, anti-Semitism, Jew hate is literally at the absolute zenith of popularity. Everyone and their mother hates Jews right now for some reason. All right, you got your Jew haters on the right, you got your Jew haters on the left, blaming everything in society on the Jews. That's a real thing. But when it comes to actual public shit, as opposed to the voices online from individuals, when it comes to the media and stuff like that, those people aren't anti-Semitic. They really aren't. They don't hate Jews, okay? The media doesn't call Jews the bad guys, and stuff like that. It really doesn't. But it does to whites. It absolutely does to whites. It does. The mainstream does this to just generic white people, right? If you're a white person, the chances of being called a Nazi radically increased, all right? So, it's absolutely insane. The media hates Israel, but the media doesn't directly hate Jews. Okay, they won't go out there. I mean, to be honest, a lot of it's owned by the Jews, which probably impacted that. But realistically, Jew hate isn't mainstream. It's still fringe, but it's a lot of fringe voices. All right, I could list you 10 names on the right and on the left that just openly want to kill Jews, and it's fucking insane. It absolutely is. But when it comes to white people, it's the mainstream narrative that says white people are the bad guys. You get politicians on CNN literally showing up and saying that white people are Nazis. Sydney Sweeney, all right? Sydney Sweeney was in an advertisement for jeans, and it was Nazi propaganda because she's a white lady. Like, this is fucking crazy. It really is. Like, the world is being turned on its head. It absolutely is. Like, this is biblical end times shit.
Academia and politics and entertainment and what have you. And it's all done under the guise of equity and inclusion and righting age-old historical wrongs. My Irish ancestors were slaves. I would like some reparations too, please.
Yo! Listen, my Jewish ancestors were slaves too. I would also like reparations. Yeah, literally, true. That's so real. You're so right for that.
In honor of this, white people, stitch this. How many white people?
I make it my personal business to have complex conversations about race with any and all white people that
I also have complex conversations about race. For example, so here's what I have to say. Here's my really complex conversation about race. Some cultures are actually worse than other cultures. Yeah, this is a very complex topic, but I feel like it's really important to dive into that.
I encounter. Period.
Somewhere along this road too, especially with TikTok becoming extremely popular, we've seen the rise of self-diagnosed mental illness. The term neurodivergent went mainstream, which is referred to autism and ADHD, and it gained traction on platforms like TikTok, where users self-diagnosed and demanded accommodations for these conditions.
All right, I'm gonna say something that you're all gonna agree with, and in fact, I think any normal person would agree with this. All right, what I'm about to tell you is something that every normal person would agree with, all right? But everyone's too scared to say it. If you are self-diagnosing yourself as mentally ill, you shouldn't be able to vote. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're retarded, then obviously your decisions aren't, they're not necessarily going to be the best decisions. You are literally voting for the future of the country. So if you are retarded, you shouldn't be able to vote. Because retarded people, I'm not trying to be insulting or anything, but obviously, you're going to make the best decision for the future of the country? I'm sorry, you're not. So if you are trying to, suck some clout out of diagnosing yourself, and there's nothing wrong with being retarded. There's nothing wrong with being retarded. You just shouldn't vote. So if you're going to try to suckle some clout from the titties of being a retard, in my opinion, don't vote. All right, I'm really glad that we're all in agreement. Everyone in my chat agrees with me. This is the thing that everyone agrees with that no one has the balls to say publicly.
Like workplace flexibility, using their conditions as an excuse to shrug off adulthood and evade responsibility in so many cases. People started collecting labels like they were personality points, non-binary.
Yeah, that's what we call flaggots.
Disabled, neurodivergent, polyamorous, and became offended if others didn't properly adhere to them. And having this perpetually offended class meant that so many things were off limits, particularly humor and comedy, which have almost really fully been replaced by political activism. Late night hosts and their performances became almost entirely about dunking.
True, it's all about Trump, it's all about woke. It's all about dunking on people that are anti-woke. I'm telling you, man.
On Donald Trump or criticizing the right wing.
Yep.
Comedians were
it's kind of crazy how insane that is, right? If you're a right-wing comedian, they will cancel you. If you are a left-wing talk show host, you literally get a slot on prime television where you lose money every year.
Canceled for jokes and are canceled for jokes, like my friend Isaac Butterfield, who is in Australia, who was brought before the Australian Human Rights Commission because he offended someone who wasn't even at his show. Television show.
Oh my God! That's crazy.
That were once fun and edgy have been sanitized. Actors and comedians have made massive attempts to distance themselves from their past works that would be seen as offensive by standards. Even YouTubers like Jenna Marbles have off the internet, kind of been forced off.
She got canceled. She got so much harassment because of like a 10-year-old video.
The internet after being called out for previous jokes. And
so I don't know if you remember, she made this video like Women Be Like or something, where women be like, hey, can you pass me something? And it's like literally right next to her. And the husband would be like, why should I pass this to you? It's literally right here. And then she would get like all offended that she called the husband and he didn't come. It was something stupid like that. And like she apologized for sexism because of things like this. Like, dog, it's not sexism. That's everyday life if you actually have a relationship.
She did this because she just didn't want to hurt people. Suddenly, everything from 2020 onwards, or maybe even earlier, had to have this social justice hyper-political edge.
I mean, it got to the point that, and I know she's giving broader examples, but You cannot find one movie made after 2020 that doesn't have one fat person, one white person, one black person, one strong female character, one brown person. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. They are literally have checklists, and their movies became sanitized slop.
The irony is, only certain types of opinions were allowed to be expressed, while also simultaneously, everyone has to have an opinion about everything and express that opinion because...
but everyone has to have the same correct opinion.
Silence is violence? Do you guys also remember those articles that argued that speech is violence? Because I do.
Yeah.
This gave rise to hyper-exhausting political advertising with companies insisting on making a statement about everything and anything they could. Transgenderism, obesity, gender identity, racism, identity politics.
And baked into all of this is this insufferable lack of nuance. Everything to the progressive left seems to be black and white.
Dude, she's so correct here. She's so correct. Like we'll even use that George Floyd case. There is nuance there. The cop was overly violent handling George Floyd. Absolutely. And I think he should have been punished for it. Not as severely as maybe he was, but absolutely he should have been punished for it. That said, George Floyd was a giant piece of shit. All right? And should not be your martyr. All right. Now, realistically, if you want to get really nuanced, you can argue the fact that for some reason, in a lot of different societies, all right, and in a lot of different cities, there are no two-family households. There's no nuclear families for some reason. For some reason, some places are shitholes. All right, it is. I just did a video on Baltimore. You could check out my video there. I'm not going to rehash points from that video. But the point that I'm trying to make is... there's a problem that needs to be fixed, and it's not because there are too many police officers over patrolling areas. Motherfucker. It's not, they're not arresting people that aren't committing crimes.
There is no shade of gray. There is no room for nuance. Either it is or it isn't, and if it's not, you're Nazi. To these people, a statement in the affirmative means that the inverse is true. If I say that I like apples, that means that I have to hate pears.
True.
I don't actually like pears, and I do like apples, but watermelon's fine. And cantaloupe. And
that is a huge L. That is a huge L. Watermelons are way better than apples and pears. Like, honestly, I don't even know why she has a platform.
So this is basically where we are now with this wokeness explosion. Language has no meaning because every meaningful word has been down.
Everyone's a Nazi, everyone's a fascist, everything's a genocide. Oh my god, did you just genocide your dog when you put him down because he had rabies?
Bigot, Nazi, xenophobe, homophobe, sexist, misogynist. Terms applied so liberally to anyone who even slightly deviates from this extremely narrow social justice path. And every word you say now could be a potential crime.
True, which is why I say as many criminal words as I possibly can. I want to make it clear. How could you possibly cancel me for being transphobic when I'm also homophobic? Like, bro, like, dude, what are we doing? But you're going to cancel me for being homophobic, but I'm literally racist. You're not going to cancel me for being racist? Like, dude, that's why you have to flood the market. That's what I'm saying. That's the strategy. You got to release the river, all right? As the Ents said in Lord of the Rings, all right? Release the river. Yeah, fuck that shit. Say what you want to say. Don't care.
You can't say homeless, you have to say unhoused. Otherwise...
No. Homeless. A burden on society and homeless. And I'm sorry for them for their circumstances that ended them up there, and they should fucking figure shit out and try their absolute best to do something with themselves. We have to stop. We have to stop doing this shit. Socialism is not the cure, it is the disease. It is the problem, because everyone wants to be given everything for free and not actually contribute. I'm sorry, it's not right, dude. They're mad at Trump for this. Get a load of this. Trump wants to force homeless people into shelters, and people are calling him fascist for locking up homeless people. No, that is not fascist. This person decided to set up their fucking house in front of mine, okay? All right? Or in a public park. All right, and realistically, there are shelters for this reason. I'm sorry, this is not fascism. This is trying to keep society working. All right? God, like, stop it.
You're being insensitive. You can't say illegal alien, you have to say undocumented migrant.
Bro, you're a snake oil salesman for a living. You'd at least want to talk about joblessness. Did I say joblessness or did I say homeless? I'm sorry. You probably misheard me because you're too busy virtue signaling over here. I did not say joblessness. I said homeless. And also, if you're jobless, get a job. I know it's difficult. I know it's not easy. Get a job. Now, you could argue that I don't have a job. But I would argue that I don't actually care about your opinion. And thank God, with the mercy of the Lord, I make a good income, I can support my family, and I do not live on the street. So, I'll be honest, bro. Life's difficult. It sucks, and it's hard for everybody. Do your goddamn best, all right? It really is. I'm just being real here.
Otherwise,
I got crazy shit that I deal with that I don't bother you with because it's none of your business, all right? Every single person has a struggle, all right? It is my personal belief that God put us in this world not to have a wonderful time, but to actually work hard and to make something and to tackle our battles and our personal issues. That's my personal belief, but I think every single person has their struggle. Now, some people's struggle is financial. Some people's struggle is in their relationship. Some people's struggle is that they grew up in a difficult place. Everyone will have a struggle and something that they need to work on and fix and deal with, and that's unfortunately life, whether you like it or not. Now, that said, do your absolute best to figure it out and to get yourself out of that rut. Get yourself out of that fucking rut. It's not easy, because life's not easy, but nothing worthwhile is easy. Anyway, that's just my relatively wholesome opinion here. But blaming other people in society instead of actually figuring shit out yourself is never the solution. Never. All right, I'm sorry. I got a quote. I have to show you this tweet, man. All right, it's from someone that I don't like. All right, it's from Andrew Tate. It's from Andrew Tate. I don't like Andrew Tate, to be clear, but this is a fucking banger.
And you can sit here and you can blame the system, blame the banks, blame the Jews. Which Jew came to your house and stopped you going to the gym? Because you got skinny ass arms, you look like a bitch to me. So which Jew stopped you going to the gym? Oh, but the Jews control the media and the media make the women not listen. They make the women not listen to you because they fucking listen to me. You know why? The guns.
But that's not where he stops. That's where he stops. Yeah, anyway, so listen, he was kind of cooking there, I'm not going to lie.
You're being xenophobic. You can't say crazy or moron or any other words associated with people being stupid, because that might be ableist. And you're expected to remember all of these terms, all of the new terms, all of these pronouns, lest you offend somebody.
True.
And then there's all of this woke cultural guilt tripping. If you are tied to Western culture, or for these people worse yet, you are a white person, you're supposed to feel shame and embarrassed for your ancestors, because it's all about decolonizing and unlearning your heritage. Everything
which is
from
crazy, because white culture is bad. It's every other culture that's good. It's only white culture that's bad.
Hiking to gardening to breathing clean air has been labeled white supremacy.
Oh.
We've even been told that it's not possible to be racist towards white
right,
people.
Of course.
They even invented this term, reverse racism, as if that's somehow its own thing. Western culture has been designated as a movement of colonization and evil and hatred. Meanwhile, every other culture is celebrated and respected.
True,
We're told that places like the United States, for example, is the worst country on the planet, and yet
which is straight bullshit. Literally leave. If you feel that way, just leave.
Everybody seems to be desperate to get in, and nobody ever leaves. And these corrosive political viewpoints have made their way into everything. You want to watch a movie? No.
Air is racist? Yeah, you didn't know that air is racist? That's why George Floyd said he can't breathe.
It has to be diverse, representative, and inclusive.
True.
TV shows, ads, even video games now come with a side of social justice messaging. You can't enjoy anything without it turning into a lecture.
True.
From Netflix to cereal brands, politics is shoved into every corner of life, and it's hard to find a moment just to breathe. So it's really no wonder that everybody is exhausted. The funny thing about this is that I am sure that some of this started with the best of intentions, that these bleeding hearts and progressives did want to create a better world.
I think a lot of this does come with good intentions. I think that's how Satan convinces you to do some shit, by making you think it's a good idea. But no, I do believe a lot of this was good with good intentions. Like, I'll give you an example. All right, feminism. All right, I think this is the easiest example in the world. Men used to beat their wives and not face consequences for beating their wives. I think that's horrible. All right, obviously it's horrible. It's illegal according to the Bible. All right. It's bad. It's immoral. It's disgusting. It's fucking gross. So when feminism rolled around and was like, yeah, actually, you're not allowed to beat your wife, I think that was a massive W. The issue is feminism morphed into a fucking zombie hydra demon retard, and now it's cutting the balls off children. All right, now, realistically, that's pretty crazy, but I do think it definitely started with good intentions. I think that's how a lot of these things happen, right? Don't call a black person the N-word. Well, yeah, we don't want to offend people, right? To the best of our ability, we want everyone to live a good life. Like, we don't want racism. I don't think racism is a good thing, actually, turns out. I don't believe racism is good. I'm actually not racist, believe it or not. This is the shocker of all shocks. I am not a racist. I am alive, though, with working eyes. That doesn't make me a racist. I even have a black friend or two every once in a while.
World, especially for people who they viewed as a minority or underrepresented. But really, as this thing has grown and changed and become what it is today, all they've really done is fractured and divided people, creating victim groups and driving the rest of us away. Any goodness that could have come about as a result of these ideologies has been squashed.
True.
And
that's because it's never enough. That's because it's never enough, and they always want more. That's right, baby. I tried using the words you wanted. I tried not offending you. I tried doing the things that you wanted me to do. I tried to conform, because why the fuck should I fight about it? And it was never fucking enough. You want to know the really tolerant people? The Trump voters, because they tried so fucking hard. And you know what? It turns out you were the intolerant ones, and they decided, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm sorry.
Who might ordinarily have been amenable to them have been driven away.
True.
So obviously there's so much more.
Dude, so many people used to have the mentality of, if you do it in your own house, I don't care. So many people had that mentality, all right? Literally so many people, right? It's like a lot of people said, all right, if you want to be transgender, I don't care. It's not my business. Like, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. But now it does affect you all of a sudden. Now it actually does affect people in your life. It affects you, and it's gotten to the point that it's almost a social contagion where they teach kids to embrace other genders when they're in elementary school. All right? And that does affect you now. That does affect your children and your families. And that is something that is absolutely unacceptable, all right? And that's why people are actually standing on business and standing against it in other walks of life. Like, if it would have always just been do it yourself, no one would have cared. And that's the fatigue.
Potentially say about this, but we simply don't have the time. We would be here for 1,000 years. So let me leave you with a final little thought. I am of the belief that most people within the same culture who have the same values will be decent to one another when left to our own devices. I don't think, by and large, that we need all of these initiatives and political and social ideas to force us into submission. I think a lot of people deep down are good people. They are decent people, and they want to be decent people out in the world. But forcing us to be constantly aware of all of our differences in the long run probably doesn't make for a very cohesive society. So
yeah, she's right.
All of the progressive
it's a negative.
The political correctness, the wokeness, the language policing, the thought policing, all these initiatives have achieved is pushing people further away and ensuring that these very same people will never ever participate in these ideologies again or ever. Now on that note, and before I open the floor...
No, that's crazy. No, I agree with her. I do agree with her. I think it definitely had a negative effect. Absolutely. See, the way I see it is when it comes to different cultures joining a collective whole, I'll give you an example. I don't care if another culture joins America and decides they want to keep their own religion, but they follow all the social laws of America, right? I actually don't care at all. Believe it or not. You could have whatever religion you want, obviously. Religious freedom, I believe in that. However, I don't think if you are not willing to conform to American society and you are trying to convert American society to conform to your culture and ideals, you're a bad actor and you should leave. See, I am very of the mindset that if you are trying to join a nation or a country, you should do your best to assimilate, at least legally assimilate to that country to the best of your ability, and socially assimilate to that country to the best of your ability. That's just my opinion. They literally, recently, they had a person in England who was from a North African cult that actually did child sacrifice in England. In England, they did child sacrifice, okay? Like, in England. right? That's like, what are we even fucking doing? Get the fuck out of the country. That is the worst thing I've ever heard. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to talk about this video is because the fatigue is real. The fatigue is absolutely real. People are tired of this shit, and it's dying, and it's over. And that's why I think we gotta push back as much as we can, release the floodgates. I believe in the ability to say words, even if those words aren't words you want to hear. And I will defend your right to say things that do offend me. And so should all of you. Because if not, you will at some point be the enemy that they try to silence, and they will succeed. Thank you so much for being here, and remember to always call people retards when they're retards. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.